Deebo gets traded. We go inside the Celtics dock, Celtics City, and we're giving away more Miracle on Ice bobbleheads. Let's do this. Happy Sunday, boys and girls. So glad you're with us. Another episode of Watch DA Live. We all come together on Sunday nights to kind of come out, hang out, have a cocktail or two, and come together as the Watch DA aliens. Welcome aboard. Coming up here tonight, we've got the lead director and lead showrunner of the 9-part Celtics doc coming out. It's debuting tomorrow on HBO and Max. It's called Celtics City. It's kind of like an OJ Made in America / Last Dance type of long-form documentary. So I'm really excited about this. You guys know I love the history of the games, the teams, the leagues. This one should be very cool. We'll talk to a couple of people deeply involved in the production of this coming up here in just a little bit. Also, we've got a bobblehead giveaway, the Museum of Bobbleheads, okay? They have been fans of the show for a while, and they sent me 3 bobbleheads to commemorate the 45th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. We've given away the last 2 weeks. We've got one more, and this one is a USA Hockey customizable bobblehead, okay? How cool is that? So if you want to win this tonight, the prize question is, let me know your favorite Stanley Cup winning hockey team ever and why. In the comments, let me know your favorite Stanley Cup hockey winning team ever and why, and we will pick the best for this final bobblehead. And again, thanks to the Museum of Bobbleheads. Yes, there's a museum. They love the show. They sent these to us. They wanted to let you know that these are available for purchase. You could go on their website to Miracle on Ice Bobbles. That's the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum's online store. Miracle on Ice Bobbles, if you'd like to buy one yourself if you didn't win one here on the show. All right, let's get things started here with your Furious 5. Deebo ends up going to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round draft pick. I recognize that Deebo has not been as productive in recent years as he was, let's say, 3 seasons ago. His best year ever was 2021. He caught 1,400 yards worth of passes, 77 catches, had 6 touchdowns, and was just kind of a do-everything guy for that Niners offense. Since then, production has gone down. Last year it slipped to just 51 catches for 670 yards and 3 touchdowns. And clearly a guy whose game is built on speed, who's going to go into year number 29, age 29 season. You know, you're going to have diminishing returns coming up here. But personally, I love this deal for the Commanders. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, there might be people that say, well, there was no other real market for Deebo Samuel, so did you have to give up a 5th-rounder? I'll tell you this. If you find a wide receiver 2 that you can start week in, week out in the 5th round, that's a steal. And I think at the very least, with Terry McLaurin there, you would slot Deebo into wide receiver 2 each and every week. So there you go. Right there, I like the value in giving up only a 5th-round pick. But the second part is, what you're trying to do, as we all know, is maximize the moment that you have Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract, right? The longer you can have a dynamic quarterback at that fraction of a price, because the moment his deal is up, he immediately goes to 50 or 55 or $60 million a season. Let's face it. That's going to be the going rate when his rookie deal is up. So you've just got to take advantage of everything right now, and you can spend money. You can spend money to surround your young QB with parts. So I think in this way, the Commanders, it's a home run. If Deebo is only worth 60 catches for 750 yards or something and 4 touchdowns, you know what? Not a big deal, because that's not going to prevent you. It should not, from spending other places, because you are saving so much money at the quarterback. And if you're giving Jaden Daniels a significant, steady option at wide receiver 2 every week so that he can build continuity and he can build some dependability with him, it's a huge support system for the quarterback. On top of it, with Cliff Kingsbury staying as the OC, you guys know I think he's the most overrated head coach that ever walked the face of the earth. But clearly, as an OC, he is successful and productive. So now you're giving a creative offensive mind like Kingsbury a weapon like Deebo Samuel. And you will get your best Deebo when he's fully engaged and happy. And we know now he got paid, and he's not going to be in San Francisco where he was unhappy. You might have a ticking clock on how long he is happy for, but you know you're going to be at least at the forefront or at the front end of satisfied, happy, content Deebo. So I love this deal for the Commanders. I think it makes tons of sense. I think it helps that offense out tremendously, and it goes to show you where the organization is a million times better, a 180 compared to the Dan Snyder years, where the Commanders doing something smart, logical, helps their team, is not surprising. Pretty amazing alternate universe we're in now with Washington football. That's the first part on tonight. Number 2 on the Furious 5, Shadeur Sanders. Okay, so Shadeur is dropping in mock drafts to maybe 6th and the Raiders. Now, note that during the regular season, he was number 1 or number 2 in just about every mock draft. Mock drafts don't necessarily go by law. We know that plenty of mock drafts are wrong every single year. But in my mind, you have to give some validity to mock drafts right now, because I think most of them, at least the good ones, are being informed by the conversations happening in the scouting combine. And there are absolutely executives that are worried about Shadeur Sanders. Some of them, it might purely be football, but I don't think that's what's happening here. Yes, Abdul Carter is a game wrecker. Yes, Travis Hunter's a dynamic potential two-way guy. And yes, it seems like Cam Ward is really helping out his cause. But I think there's something else at play with Shadeur. And I did a deep dive on this over the weekend. You can check it out here on the YouTube channel. And that is, I think there is a fear of Shadeur being Dion 2.0. I don't necessarily think that's misplaced. But the reason that's a fear, even though Dion was a Hall of Fame corner, is because executives this time of year, especially with quick turnover now in the NFL where coaches and GMs rarely get many years, is a paranoia over culture. You hear it so many times, culture, culture, culture. And I think one thing that's really worrying executives, GMs, maybe coaches as well about Shadeur is the camera crew, branding, celebrity empowerment that comes with Shadeur Sanders. His dad is a guy who has coached him, fathered him, parented him to believe you've got leverage and you use it. Don't worry about people not liking you. Don't worry if it's outside the box. Don't worry about haters or cynics. You do you. And he has taught his son, his family, how to maximize attention. Well, guess what? GMs hate that. In the NFL, they hate it. They hate rookies coming in thinking that they know what's going on. They hate rookies that might challenge authority. And they hate a player who might think that he's bigger than the locker room or bigger than the organization. I think that's what's happening here. I think what you're seeing is Shadeur, and now there's kind of these anonymous quotes that are coming out about maybe he's this, maybe he's that, maybe he's overrated, all this type of stuff. Where was this during the regular season? Everybody's got the same game film on him. Everybody's got the same exact analysis and game film on his games. So what's happening right now? I think conversations are happening in Indy, or did, I think there's a worry amongst NFL executives of an empowered young man that brings celebrity with him. And they're going, is it worth it? Because he's not Cam Newton, and he's not Jaden Daniels, and he's not Caleb Williams in terms of this, like, printed for the NFL. Stardom is in the cards, and you just got to deal with it no matter what. Okay? I think they look at Shadeur. I think they worry about attention. They worry about personality. They worry about empowerment. Maybe they worry about the Dion thing as well. And they go, and there might be a question about how good he is. I'm good. Now, again, mock drafts don't inform everything. Certainly possible. There's a team that loves Shadeur. It only takes one. They trade up into number one. Maybe that number one is the Tennessee Titans. Then they love Shadeur. Maybe the Cleveland Browns love Shadeur. And it's not that big a deal. But I think there's a reason that you see his stock dropping in mocks right now. I think it has to do with concern that happened at the combine. And there's a lot of chatter that happens at the combine. That is a chatty Cathy lunchroom at the combine. I think that's what happened this weekend. All right. Again, deeper dive on that if you want more on the Shadeur Sanders question that I did a video on, available on the YouTube channel right now. So you guys know me. I love the history of the sports. I love the history of the leagues. I love the history of the players, the coaches, the organizations. And what organization has more history than the Boston Celtics? If there's any one organization that deserves a 9-part documentary to go through the ins, the outs, the decades, the generations, the eras, the titles, the highs, the lows, it'd be the Boston Celtics. Celtics City debuts tomorrow night on HBO and streaming on Max. 9 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific, okay? And this thing looks phenomenal. They sat down with just about everybody. We have Lauren Stowell, lead director, joining us, 7-time Emmy winner. We have Gabe Honing as well, and he is the lead showrunner on this documentary series. Can't wait to talk to them in just seconds. Check out this preview.
I think there's something for everyone in this film. Whether you're a diehard fan, whether you love Boston, hate Boston, love the Celtics, hate the Celtics, I think that we were able to, with the 9 hours that we had, the real estate, the canvas that we were able to paint with, we're able to tell so many incredible stories and just a larger story about America, about Boston, about this team and what it means to the city, to history, and to America. So there's a lot.
The Celtics story is one that everybody thinks they know, but you haven't seen it like this before.
Oh, how good is this? That looks phenomenal. Lauren and Gabe join us now. Hi, everybody. How we doing? Lauren, how are you?
I'm doing so well. So happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, our pleasure. This is exciting as well. Gabe, how you doing? How you feeling, buddy?
I feel good, man. Let's get this thing on the air tomorrow night, huh?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure this has been a long time coming for you both. The Celtics obviously win a NBA championship at NBA Finals back in June. How long before that was this thing in the works? Because you couldn't have timed it out any better that you're releasing a 9-parter, and the Celtics are defending champs. Lauren, when did this start coming across your desk?
Yeah, it was really at the end of 2022. I had a conversation with Connor Shell and obviously Bill Simmons. This was an idea that they had been, talking about and developing really since 2020. So when they approached me about the opportunity to direct this and, 9 parts, 9 hours of definitive history, I was thrilled. I immediately brought Gabe into the fold. We started talking. He had just finished The Captain, so he was no stranger to multi-part series. And yeah, I mean, we were thrilled. The treatment, I read the initial treatment. I was just blown away. It read like a Hollywood story. There's just so many layers to the Boston Celtics, the city of Boston, the ties to American history. So we started production in 2023. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Timing could not be better. Gabe, you had such an interesting comment in that little teaser, and that was everybody thinks they know the story of the Celtics, but they really don't. Okay, what did you mean by that?
A couple things. Number one is that, there's been a bunch of docs about different parts of Celtic history. But when you put the story all together, there's these common themes, these common ties. But really what I mean is that like no filmmaker has ever told the story of the Celtics through the people who actually did it, the people who were the Celtics, who made up the Celtics. And I think that's what this stands this series apart from all the other stories, is that like it's not what happened, it's why, who did it, what were their motivations, the human story behind the basketball story.
Lauren, you said this is about how the Celtics represent American history. And I think the greatest documentaries have always been, especially for sports, ones that don't just focus on the games themselves, the box scores, but how it ties into society, cities, culture, history, etc. So that's a really enticing catch for me, a hook for me on this type of series. How does the Celtics and the story that you told reflect American history?
Yeah, I mean, right from the initial foundation of the organization, Red Auerbach, Bill Russell, obviously, when we started to really look at that formative history, the foundational history of the organization, I didn't know that the Celtics drafted the first Black player in 1950 in Chuck Cooper. I didn't know that they had the first Black head coach in professional North American sports in Bill Russell, player coach. I didn't know they had the first Black starting five in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. And that's something that I think we knew. And as a team, we talked about, you can really trace, the lineage of the NBA from 1950 to current, when Red took the job, to the 18th championship. You can trace the history of Black empowerment and the Black American story through the Boston Celtics. So really, we were looking at not just the city, but some of these like really, really important societal kind of milestones that the organization had that really weren't as widely publicized and widely known and talked about. And I think that's really where we started, Damon. Like we started with that kind of foundational history with those two men, what they stood for, their character, their ethos. And then we traced that. And we tried to look at that lineage of like the DNA that we found through every player who talked about that foundation being meaningful. I mean, up to Jaylen Brown. I mean, he really has a deep reverence for that, for those, those milestones and for what the organization represents.
There are so many incredible characters in Celtics history, but then also the flip side, the antagonists of the Celtics, whether that was your favorite team or somebody else's favorite team or most hated team, but it's the Lakers, it's the Sixers, it's the Knicks. It's all of these tremendous, kind of like counterbalances to what the Celtics were. And one of the great characters is Rick Pitino. Now I saw the trailer. Pitino's in it. Gabe, was Pitino tough to sell to get to do this doc, or was he okay in doing it and he accepted his role in the history of this thing?
We interviewed Pitino late in the game. I'll just say that it took a little while to get him in the chair, but once we did, I mean, he owns his role in Celtic history, which you'll see it in episode 7 and 8. He doesn't admit to doing much to help the Celtics with their ultimate goal, which is putting up a banner. But no, I mean, that was one of those moments where we're like, okay, how is this going to go? Pitino spoke his truth.
Lauren, there is a part in the trailer where it hones in on the racial divide that happened in Boston in the 1960s, 1970s. I lived and worked in Boston for a number of years, working on the sports radio side of things at 98.5 The Sports Hub. And so I began to realize how complicated the whole thing is, and redlining and busing and all these types of things that happen in Boston. And there's that, that picture that is ingrained in everybody's mind of, a man wielding an American flag as a weapon in the middle of a crowd. And there is a moment where ML Carr catches himself, and he's very emotional, catches himself in that trailer. Tell us about how the story of race weaves in here and how personal and emotional it must be for a guy like ML Carr, and certainly was for Bill Russell, because his relationship was extremely complicated with the city.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the kind of essential questions that our team was very interested in unpacking and exploring in this film was the perception and the reputation of Boston being a, quote, racist city. That is something that we had read about, heard about, it's spoken about, whispered about, that it's not a friendly place for Black people in Boston. That's something that we really didn't understand. Obviously, I'm from New England, but I can't claim to live in Boston. I didn't really understand where the origin of that came from. And I think that was something that we asked every person that we interviewed. It was something that, we really wanted to understand. And it was interesting that the response from people was really focusing on that time period, Damon. It was that time of busing in the 1970s, the images that were broadcast around the nation, around the world, and specifically that image that you were talking about came up multiple times with people that we talked to, who they could describe the image, didn't know who the people in the photo were. And we did. We had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Ted Landsmark. He's the gentleman in the photo who's being attacked on City Hall Plaza, and he's a huge Celtics fan. And just being able to understand how that history impacted the perception of what the city, the city's kind of complicated history of race relations is really through that moment, I think, on a national stage. Is what we found. Obviously, we didn't have all the answers, but we were, and you will see in the 9 hours that we do try to unpack why there is that perception. And is it fair? Is it earned? Is it unfair? Those are questions that we asked ourselves, and then we turned onto our interview subjects, which was really, really impactful.
One thing right now that is doing very well on social media is Larry Bird stories. There's Larry Bird war stories of guys that played against him that are like, yeah, he told me exactly what he was going to do, and then he did it. And you just hear time and time again, it never gets sick. So, Gabe, how many good Larry Bird stories do we get out of this 9-part doc?
There are a lot of very good Larry Bird stories, and there are a lot of interesting comments about Larry Bird, the teammate, and Larry Bird, the opponent. Yeah, I mean, James Worthy, has a laugh out loud moment in reference to Mr. Bird, and his teammates talk about him very openly. But, getting Larry for this was like that, we couldn't do this without a new Larry Bird interview. We got him, and he told stories that, Jackie McMullen was the consulting producer for us. She did the Bird interview. She was able to get him to sit for us. And after the interview, she was like, I'd never heard him talk about that kind of stuff before.
Wow.
Especially towards the, Larry opened up a lot about the ending of his career. And that was the stuff that we found really interesting. Obviously, there's all those great highlights. He's been on the record talking about those things. But the end of his career is, he shared some things with us that Jackie had never really heard before.
Wow. That's interesting. Now, this is going to be a 9-part doc, and it's going to be released weekly through the end of April. So it follows that cadence of The Last Dance. Today, you could drop every single episode at the same time, and then everybody could binge it. But you guys decided against that. Lauren, tell us why you wanted to play this week by week over the course of a number of weeks.
Well, I mean, we fully trust, and believe in everything that HBO has kind of put behind this. They've been incredibly supportive and just like pushing this on every platform that you could imagine. And I think, I'm excited that people are going to be able to watch this one episode after the other. I think, this isn't an anthology. It was always a story from beginning to end for us and for our team. We wanted to weave and harken back to these themes that we established early in the first few episodes that really do pay off and resonate. You get to live and experience these characters throughout the 9 hours. Red and Bill, Kuzi, they never disappear. They come back in ways that are expected and some very unexpected. So I'm really, really thrilled that we're able to share it in a way that we created it to be shared, one, leading to the next. So we're really excited about it.
But so we won't be able to binge all 9 episodes tomorrow when it's released, right?
You will not. No, it will be one every Monday at 9 Eastern. And yeah, for, like you said, it will be 9 weeks and culminating on April 28th. And then they'll be all available. So you can wait if you'd rather, pick your episodes, but
I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of this, the way that it is. I thought the way that The Last Dance sucks you in, it leaves you with a week of conjecture, a week of analysis, a week of thinking about it. I think that's a really valuable and impactful way to do this. So I'm glad you guys are doing it this way. I just think it's really effective, especially in the sports world where we get into the rhythm and cadence of event happens, talk about it, analyze it, think about what's going to happen next, then watch the next. It's not like we watch a full NBA season in 2 nights. It has to carry out over the course of weeks, months, etc. So I like that it's going down like this. Gabe, I want to know, what's a story or a character, maybe a player, a coach, a character that you're going to tell our audience, you might not have seen this coming, but you're going to love this person. This person tells a great story, or I didn't see this person being such a big part of the story that's being told.
Robert Parrish. Growing up in the 80s as a New York Knicks fan, I had a perception of Robert Parrish. He was very, straight-faced and didn't show a lot of emotion. And, talking to Celtic fans, they never really got to know him. And he admits that. He admits he did that by design. And in the 3-hour plus interview that he did for us, Lauren and I were sitting there with our fists on our mouth at times, trying not to laugh. The guy
Really?
is an amazing human being, really entertaining, really spoke from his heart, and was able to contextualize things and bring us into that locker room in a way that was truly an amazing surprise for us.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about a lot of Johnny Most as well. I assume there's a lot of good Johnny Most cigar smoking, gravelly play-by-play and stories, right? I mean, Laura, that's got to be in this thing as well.
Yes, gear up for a lot of Johnny Most. Yes, it's
love
great.
it. I love this.
Yes.
Celtics City is a 9-part doc, hour by hour, starting tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Pacific, on HBO and streaming on Max. I can't wait for this. I'm super excited. I think everybody's going to really get a kick out of this. And I can't wait to talk about it on this show and on Sirius XM as well in the mornings after these things air. So this is really cool. Lauren Stowell is the lead director. She's a 7-time Emmy Award winner. So Lauren, congratulations on all of the success. Thank you so much for carving out time for us tonight. This is really, really cool. I know the audience is super thrilled to have you guys here. And Gabe is the lead showrunner as well, Gabe Honig. And unbelievably, Gabe's mom and my mom go way, way back. They're old school friends. Had no idea Gabe was working on this. Comes across my desk. It's like, oh, and by the way, your moms know each other for 30 years. I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's unbelievable. So, Gabe, it is so good to have you here on the show, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be in touch after this. Lauren and Gabe, congratulations on this thing. I can't wait to watch it. I appreciate the time tonight.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Lauren Stowell and Gabe Honig joining us from Celtics City here on the show. And there is, if you are just a fan of basketball in general, you can weave the Celtics in and out of just about every story. It's the birth of the league. It's the Lakers and the Celtics. It's Bird versus Magic. It's the downtrodden 90s. It's the comeback of the 2000s and the Kevin Garnett trade. It's now Brown and Tatum and the reigning, world champions. There's race relations in Boston. There's the explosion of the league. There's the 70s when they win 2 titles and the NBA is kind of on the rocks competing with the ABA. There's so much that runs through the Celtics that this should be really awesome. I'm super excited about it. That was really cool that they got to spend that much time with us as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys enjoy the documentary also. All right, really cool stuff. I see a few questions about what's in my mug. This is just an old-fashioned Sirius XM mug. That's the Sirius XM dog right there. And yeah, it's just water in here tonight. I wish it was more exciting than that, but I got to get up early tomorrow because we are in studio rocking and rolling. And, during the summer months, I was doing most Monday shows from home so I could sleep in a little bit. If I had a cocktail or two, no big deal. Some Mondays I was just not even on the air during the summer, if you remember correctly. So I could certainly partake. But tonight, I'm going to chill out. We're just going to do some water here tonight, but I got my trusty Sirius XM mug right there for you. All right, back to the Furious 5, okay? We got some other action talking about some of the stories of the day. And one of the things that I thought was pretty funny was SNL last night took a shot at Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Okay. Michael Che on the weekend update desk had a crack. Let me just see if I can pull this up so that I quote it correctly. Okay. Because if I don't, it's not going to be nearly as funny. And you guys are going to be like, didn't land, DA. Okay. Let's see here. Here's what Michael Che said. Last week, a U.S. appeals court blocked a student debt relief plan, which means the only way for young people to pay off their student loans is by dating Bill Belichick. So his girlfriend is 23 years old. And obviously, you have SNL poking fun at you. You've become part of the zeitgeist. I think as time wears on, this is my prediction, Belichick's girlfriend will be more and more of a punchline to the world as a whole, certainly the sports world. You can already tell it's happening within the Patriots walls. And yeah, it's a little quirky that he's a 70-some-odd-year-old man dating a 20-some-odd-year-old girl. There's a 50-year difference. But I saw behavior at the Super Bowl week that I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing here. She tried to make news. And that was like, got it. Okay, so now she's using Bill to leverage getting a podcast, basically. This is Polly Pocket Podcast Princess. This is what we're doing. Because not only is she wearing the most revealing dress ever to the NFL Honors, which, by the way, is an event that I went to. If I'm invited to it, you do not have to dress up like it's the Oscars. You're not invited tonight, okay? So you can chill out with the backless, strapless, stomachless, show off everything at the NFL Honors with like slovenly NFL media like me there. But secondly, then she wears the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl championship t-shirt that week, knowing she was going to create buzz notoriety. You watch. Okay, by the way, UNC accepted the Hard Knocks deal, so now there's going to be Hard Knocks about UNC football. Not sure if she encouraged Bill to take that deal, but she's going to be in that doc. You can make sure, you can bet your life she's going to sandwich her way into that. She is going to become such a punchline because she's doing this clearly for the next project. Okay, that much. I mean, do you need to wear a Falcons Super Bowl champion t-shirt if you're the girlfriend of a head coach that's not even in the NFL Super Bowl week? Let's get real. You watch. You can count these eggs before they hatch. This is what she's leveraging. This is what she's going for. And frankly, it's sad because Vince Lombardi, Bill Walsh, Chuck Noll, Tom Landry didn't have to date 20-year-olds who are looking for a TV show or looking for fame and notoriety. They were good. Bill, sorry, man. You're losing cred by the moment, by the second. All right, one more note here on the Furious Five. And you have Rob Manfred, who is talking about Pete Rose and reinstatement, and Pete Rose being taken off the banned list. I mean, Rob, Pete's dead, man. Now, he's been dead for like 10 minutes. Suddenly, this is about getting him into the Hall of Fame or making sure that wrongs have been righted. I think that is so distasteful. If you feel like Pete Rose broke the cardinal rule of Major League Baseball and you want to say he is ineligible for the Hall of Fame, you have a leg to stand on. There are certainly an argument and many to be made about that. And I watched that 3 or 4 part documentary that HBO did. I think it was maybe it was Peacock that did the Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle story. Really good doc. And it was very, I think, enlightening about how much was his own worst enemy. And that there are many times that he could have copped to whatever, told the truth, and probably opened up a door for him into the Hall of Fame. And he didn't because he lied and he just couldn't help himself. And he was always shifty and hanging out with shifty people. And you know what? If you want to say, hey, Pete had many chances and just kept fumbling them, fine. But how long has the guy been dead for? And now suddenly and we should think about reinstatement. If you're going to think about reinstatement, his passing shouldn't change that. It should have been done before he passed away, okay? You made a guy hold out, hope forever until his dying day, and then he didn't get in, and now suddenly within minutes, you're like, oh, maybe we'll revisit that. Not cool. If he didn't get in while he was living, and you certainly had many years to handle that, grapple with that, then you cannot go back on that less than a year after he passed away. No, I don't like that. Bad job by Rob, but what else is new, right? All right, boys and girls, as I mentioned before, we've got a hockey bobblehead, and I'm asking you guys here for your favorite Stanley Cup winning hockey team and why. What was your favorite cup winning hockey team and why? Best answer is going to win our final Miracle on Ice bobblehead. Very cool, okay? All right, before we get there, Aidan Hatton, the Marquette Marvel, is a college basketball aficionado, and he's leading us into March Madness. I've got a very exciting announcement about March Madness in our bracket tournament right here coming up in just mere moments. But first, before we get there, it's time for this week's installment of Making Tacos.
If you're not making tacos, I don't love you no more.
Rev up those fryers because I am sure hungry to tackle the tacos. Last week I was a soft shell of myself, but it's time to ground some beef and deliver the goods. Let's warm up with today's Calientes.
Feeling good, doing well. Feeling good, doing well.
And to do so, we have to take a trip to the Love Shack. It's a little place where it's officially March weather. Jemai Mayshak, the senior from Tennessee, knocks down the buzzer beater to beat Alabama, arguably the game of the year in college basketball. Staying sizzling down in Louisiana, how about McNeese State? Yes, Marquette Marvel, mid-major mothership alerts. You may know their head coach, Will Wade, from his LSU days, but who you're just getting introduced to is senior manager Amir Khan. Amir is quoted as saying, if they kept manager stats for rebounding and wiping up wet spots on the courts, I'd put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. That t-shirt is white hot, on sale now. Go support his NIL. And finally, the mid-major mothership doesn't stop there, folks. Omaha just beat Oral Bobby to win the Summit League regular season, and they called Guy Fieri to get a Mexican side dish, some trash can nachos. That's the official AEW championship belt for some reason. Now wait a minute.
He said, get away from me, buddy!
I'm telling Michigan to get away from me. They just lost at home to unranked Illinois today, and their last 4 wins have all come, their last 9 wins have all come by 4 points or less. Each of those 9 wins, their margins are tighter than a size 32 on a weird waist.
He has a weird waist.
It was a salty student section at Providence College after their loss to UConn on Saturday, and some friendly fryer fire by the always classy PC fans. Where does the salt go?
What did he do? Oh! Oh my God!
Clearly it goes into the Providence River.
So then where does the salt go?
Now my final buddy that I want to get away from is an actual buddy of mine, Ronald McDonald. DA, if I could have a Shamrock Shake every single day of March, I'd have a
weird waist.
If I did so. So McDonald's, unless you want to sponsor, get away from me before I can have one every day of this beautiful month. They are so back and so tasty. Speaking of tasty,
have fun with your marriage!
Start your week Taco Tuesday with Pat Boyle's favorite team, the Cougars of BYU, visiting TJ Otzelberger.
Do they have good burgers?
And Iowa State. Next up, that's right, had to do it. My Golden Eagles of Marquette visiting UConn on Wednesday. My guy Cam Jones played like a doge in DC. Oh, sorry, we don't do politics here. These two teams have both won a Big East championship in the last 2 years, and this game has major seeding implications for this year's tournament.
Now, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. There's a second helping of the Iron Bowl of basketball on Saturday, March 8th, which is also my mom's birthday. The best taco maker I've ever had. Happy early birthday, Mom. And that is how the tacos are made.
If you're not making tacos, I don't love you no more.
Bravo. That was excellent. Bravo. Did you call
Thank you.
Oral Roberts Oral Bobby?
I did. I'm glad you caught that. That's a hat tip of the sombrero to the old DA show days.
Oral Bobby. One of my favorite lines here. A lot of Canadian bacon DNA in that making tacos, which I really appreciated. I was a soft shell of myself last week.
Not our best performance. We had to harden up. We had to toughen up. Ground some beef and make the goods. That's what we're here for.
And he played like a doge, as in dog. That was like a boil. He played like a dog.
No, he played like a doge in DC, but I said we don't do politics here.
I see. But there is definitely
Marquette beat Georgetown last night down in DC. So that was the hat tip to my good friend Cam Jones.
So the manager of McNeese State, that's the guy that's rapping on Instagram all the time. That video that went viral.
That's correct. McNeese State. I'm trying to remember their mascot off the top of my head. I cannot. But yes, they actually made the tournament last year as a 12 seed with Will Wade, who used to coach at LSU before the allegations. Yes, that senior manager, Amir Khan, once Will Wade signed up at McNeese, was like on the edge of being a manager. He's like, screw it. I got to sign up. I got to play for this guy or manage for this guy. And he said in his bio, this was before the season, they ask him, what's your story or whatever. Yeah, if there was stats for wiping up the floor, I'd put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. So he took a picture. By the way, Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points. Today's the anniversary. So just even better to put in.
Interesting. And Kristen of Buffalo gives you 2 mariachis. Very nice. I think that's 2 out of 2. I don't know if that's 2 out of 5 mariachis.
Oh, that's right. 2 out of 2.
I don't know. I didn't know that you were a huge Shamrock Shake guy.
Love the Shamrock Shake, DA. There is such an underrated part about it because it only comes out for about a month. I actually did the research on this beforehand. It doesn't last for all of March. I think shortly after St. Patrick's Day, it drops off the menu. So it's really a public service announcement, A, for McDonald's to possibly sponsor us, and B, to go get it before it drops.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. I like all of this. And I got this comment that I really liked as well, which was, let me see here, from Wallace. Aidan is shredding this bit like lettuce on a taco. Very nice.
I can't tell if that's a good or bad thing, like I'm shredding the air,
I think it's
or
good.
if I'm actually ripping it to pieces.
I think it's very, very good. I think you're doing a good job with this. I think it keeps elevating each and every week. I like this very much. And this is important that we are learning more about your brackets, because I have a deal that we just locked in today, actually, for an apparel company called Tropical Bros. If you've been watching the DA show since 2020, during pandemic, we had a Tropical Bros tie-in, and it was enjoying the summer even though you're trapped inside. So we had myself, Mraz, Bogues, and Bilotti all had these like tropical outfits, these kind of like Jimmy Buffett, floral design, button-up Hawaiian shirts. Tropical Bros said, we love the show. We want to do something again with you. Can we do something for Watch DA Live? And I said, how about you sponsor our bracket challenge? And they're like, in. Patrick, who has been with me for a long time as a sales guy, who has helped out stuff on a couple of different accounts, he's handling the Tropical Bros. He's like, let's do it. So we are going to put together grand prize and maybe some secondary prizes as well for Watch DA Live's bracket challenge, brought to you by Tropical Bros. So you will be winning apparel this year, okay? We're talking about summer hang apparel, which is perfect because we're going to be winning something in April. as the weather turns and you're going to want all these cool, fluorescent, tropical, summery type of vibes, we got multiple prize packs to give away. It's not just going to be one grand prize. Got multiple prize packs to give away. All right. So when the brackets are out, we will have a bracket challenge just like last year. Marquette Marvel will hook you up. All listeners are invited. Come one, come all. All good. How about that, Marquette Marvel? March Madness sponsored once again here on Watch DA Live.
That's breaking news to me, folks, which is so exciting. It is the most wonderful sports month of the year. The fact that it started on Saturday this year. Thank you, Tropical Bros. I cannot wait. Regardless of how Marquette plays in the tournament, I'm going to be a happy clam because we got some Tropical Bros merch on the way.
There you go. Love it. Great job by making tacos. I like this ongoing bit here on the show. Am I forgetting anything here? We've got to give away the bobblehead, and we've got to give away last dive bar swag. Am I forgetting anything else on the rundown sheet?
We'll end with the Little Mo laugh, and that's about it.
Okay, good. So do you want to give away the bobblehead now? Are you ready to give it away? Do you have a winner here in the hopper for this?
Oh, boy. I think we do for the bobblehead.
Okay.
By the way, as I stall here, Chris Farley did go to Marquette.
I'm going to give you a moment, okay? You want to run through some of those and decide? I'm going to do a little soliloquy here. You got it?
Yes. As the comments flood in while I was making tacos, I'll read those, make sure to pick the best winner, and we'll be right back.
Very good. So I'm going to give you a little word of the wise as I just learned this week, okay? I guess I knew it, but it's helpful to be reminded of it. My boiler went last Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about water boilers right now, okay? Talking about this because last Sunday we had a leak, sprung a leak. Our house is 35 years old. We bought it 5 years ago. Same boiler. So we were probably on borrowed time. Guy comes over. I've got water in the basement, right? Not a good thing. And he's like, well, going to need a new boiler, or you could repair for a couple of $1,000, but you probably just want to replace it because you're on borrowed time anyway with an old boiler. Okay. So he gives me a price on the new boiler, and I'm like, look, there's a leak here. I got a wet floor. I don't want this to destroy the basement. Bad news. You just got to replace this. And so I kind of jumped the gun and signed the dotted line for a new replacement boiler. Okay. So I start looking at this price over the course of the weekend, and I'm like, that feels really high. And I never got another estimate. Bad job, IDA. Incredibly bad job. But I got water coming out of a tank in my basement, and I'm like, we just need this replaced like right away. And it's a Friday, right? I said Sunday, but it was a Friday. So they were going to replace it this past Monday. Through the weekend, they could get back on a Monday. So I just had to basically like have a bucket under the leak until then. I said, this feels really expensive. So I bought myself Monday, and I said, hey, I need a day to decide on this, okay? And so I bought myself a day. I had somebody else come in, and I got 2 more estimates. Well, they were both under the original estimate. And I brought it back to the guy that gave me the original one, and I said, I got to be honest with you. You know, I think we can get this done for a cheaper price. I know I signed for the new boiler, and I was a little nervous because I thought he's going to hold me to the contract. He goes, well, what was the price that you got? So I told him. He goes, if I can match that price, can we install it tomorrow? I said, absolutely. He went back to his manager, got the price. Bada bing, bada boom. So a little reminder, you do hold some power, some leverage in high cost negotiations like this. Might not happen everywhere. Not sure you can take like a tomato from like one shopping plaza and go to the other one. Maybe you can price match stuff like this. But if you're a little squirrely on something, challenge the price with another estimate. That's my big tip here to save a little bit of money, especially around the house, because everybody's gouging everybody these days, and it doesn't make me feel good that the original estimate could be dropped by so much just by me asking. Clearly, they were overcharging me, but as they said, they go, you know what? You need hot water. We need installs. Well, you got it done. Just remember that. Don't feel like you're always a victim. Okay, if you got something, get multiple estimates, challenge, and go, hey, I got this. Can you do it for this? It's not always comfortable, not always the easiest conversation, but might save you some money in the long run. There you go. That's my homeowning tip of the day. That's what I got for you. All right. Mr. Aidan Hatton, Marquette Marvel, do we have a winner now for the bobblehead?
Yes, we do. And permission, as always, to beam me up. Thank you so much for your comments, as always. First, the winner of the bobblehead from the National Bobblehead Museum from my second home of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Customizable this week. DA, let's give it to Jason, who is following on Twitter/X, his favorite cup team, the 0102 Red Wings. Nobody buys a hockey team like Mr. I. And really the icing on the cake here was, when do we get to college hockey? First Penrose Cup in WMU school history.
Whoa.
He's a Western Michigan guy. So Western Michigan hockey, first Penrose Cup, that deserves the bobblehead.
Yeah, anybody that's into the Penrose Cup of collegiate hockey definitely deserves this bobblehead. Very good. Jason, longtime D-Alien. Gotta love it. I love rewarding the loyal listeners, the loyal D-Aliens for many, many years. Jason, great job by you. This one's awesome. And again, it's 45 years since the Miracle on Ice. If you want to buy your own Miracle on Ice bobblehead, you can. They're $40. Miracle on Ice, bobbles.com. That's plural. Miracle on Ice, bobbles.com, I believe. Or better yet, just go to the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame, okay? Go to their website, and then you'll see the link to their store, and you can get them there. But they gave us 3 to give away. They love the show, which is awesome. And I'm just very thrilled because we have sponsors that love the show, and they love you guys. They know that we have great listeners. They know that we have loyal listeners. They know that we all come together on Sundays to hang out and chat and, shoot the bleep and have fun. So you have the Bobblehead Hall of Fame. You have the Last Dive Bar. You have Tropical Bros. The list, we have Santo Tequila. Like, all of these brands understand that we just have something special here. So think about all the cool stuff we've given away. We've given away Bacta bourbon. We've given away Santo Tequila. We've given away autographed Guy Fieri stuff. We've given away autographed Sammy Hagar stuff. We've given away 3 Miracle on Ice bobbleheads. We're going to be giving away Tropical Bros apparel. I mean, it's just like never ending. So that's what we got around here. We have
potentially Shamrock Shakes.
Potentially Shamrock Shakes. We're working on that diligently as we speak right now. Emails are going out. So bring your friends into the fold here and let them know, hey, Sunday nights is fun. And even if you can't watch live, you can always watch on the replay because it's always up on the YouTube channel. But if you watch live, you got a chance to win some cool stuff. So thank you, everybody, for making this vibe so positive, to make it obvious for potential sponsors to be part of this and want to do something cool like doing all these giveaways. Last Dive Bar, they're amazing. They're going to be starting up our merch store in March. Now that it's March, we're a couple of weeks away from it, so we will let you know the details on the merch store. But we want to give away a Last Dive Bar t-shirt as well. So, Aidan, who do we got?
We got Connor checking in on YouTube. Rob Manfred is as gross and incompetent as John Fisher. Right up your alley. Right up Last Dive Bar's alley. Connor checking in. He was checking in late and commented as well, did I miss anything? So he's making sure he checks into the whole show. So reach out to us, watchda@gmail.com, or get on either one of our socials for the Last Dive Bar shirt.
All right. Hit us up, buddy. Hit us up, Connor, with your address. We'll get that out to you. Just sent out a t-shirt this week to Dana Mechanicsburg, and then also a couple of bobbleheads as well just went out. So all good stuff. The winnings just keep plugging right along and happening. It's raining prizes around here on Watch DA Live. What other YouTube show just gives away stuff? I mean, maybe Mr. Beast gives away cash or something, but short of that, okay? Short of that, we just keep giving away amazing things. So there you go. Alex says, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Spencer asks, any DA checkered shirt giveaways? Well, I don't have any plan, but that could always happen if you'd like. If you want a game-worn DA button-down, one that might be going to the Salvation Army, maybe one that I've outgrown, or maybe the one that's a little tattered, or one that just needs to recycle out of the wardrobe, we can certainly give that away. My guess is it's kind of gross. You probably wouldn't want something that I wore, but if you would, you know what? We could probably make that happen. Timbo says, I've been wanting a DA checkered shirt for years. Yes, I'm sure it's kind of like collecting your favorite jersey. DA checkered shirt, right? Yeah, it's like, I want the Jordan road jersey. No, I want the Jordan black jersey. No, I want the Jordan 45. No, I want the Jordan Wizards. No, I want a DA checkered shirt. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's like a Woj phone. That's right. Yeah, we'll start the bidding at 25 cents. What do you think? 25 cents. I have to say, I have enjoyed the commentary in this. And when we now get into March, we are going to be doing a Q&A on YouTube, as I promised for months now. But we're going to finally debut it this month. And the Q&A is going to be just you and me, and everything's on the table, all questions. Okay, so we will tell you how you can be part of it. All right. There's going to be a big announcement about that. We'll do that sometime later on this month once the merch store is up. That way, maybe I can give away some merch if you're jumping as part of the Q&A. But we're finally going to do it, and I'm very excited about this because the comments are always very funny, and we can't get to them all. And I'm kind of looking forward to chances to do more just response to your ridiculous comments and funny questions and observations and takes and everything. So we're thinking about, once we have the merch store up and everything up and running, maybe doing an extended post game for Watch DA Live. All right, where you can be part of an internal chat, and then also the Q&A where it's just us, me, you, and the walls and YouTube. Okay, and we just talk about everything and anything, and we demoisten the touch, as we like to say around here. Demoisten the touch. Okay, so stay tuned. Also, last week, Mraz told us that we're coming close to an announcement on the Bob's Bar show. We're going to give you at least a 3-month heads up, at least. So hopefully that helps out everybody if you want to get to Bob's Bar. But that thing's going to be amazing, really, truly amazing. I'm really excited about that. And that's going to be an extension of this show and of just the community that we've built. And, I say this a lot, but I want you guys to hear it as well. The fact that we come together on Sundays and I see so many familiar faces that have been with me, listening to the show, watching the show for the last year, but go back years with the radio show. It just means, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, it just means a lot. It just truly, truly means a lot. I viewed that it's that type of family. That's why I want to do Bob's Bar and get as many of you out there as possible to meet one another and understand the bond that we all have and the family and the friendship. So I just want to say thank you. It means a great deal. It never goes unnoticed. And whether you're here once or whether you're here every single week, whether you leave a comment or 10 of them or 20 of them or none, just by being part of this, it is incredibly valuable to me. So thank you. We've got a Ed Block Courage Award coming up in Baltimore next weekend, which there's going to be a Little Mo Award. There always is. They asked me to MC for the second year in a row, which is just amazing. It's all about courage and community around the NFL. So they honor a bunch of players that are really into both of those things. I got to MC it last year. It's great. And Mo Gaba is honored, and Sanzi was there, his mom, last year. So my heart was just incredibly full that night. I offered it to a bunch of the listeners that are in Baltimore or around Baltimore. If you would like to come to Saturday night, the Ed Block Courage Awards, I can get you and a guest in. That's on me, and we'll cover it. And it's a really, really beautiful, wonderful event. So if you're in Baltimore or around and would like to go, it's in the Inner Harbor. I can give you all the information about it. I'm going to put it on social media, but just reach out to me this week via social media. DMs, try to tweet at me, try to DM me, try to @message me. And if I don't get back to you, just keep doing it because, I don't get to see everything. Or you can email me. Again, the email is always open, watchdalive@gmail.com, watchdalive@gmail.com if you're interested. But, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to share this event with me because it's really cool. And Mo is honored. So, you can never go wrong with that. So if you're in the Baltimore area, I believe Mac and Bear in Delaware and his son are going to come, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that. Get to hang out with them on Saturday night. So there you go. And that's a good way to pivot into our final segment of the week every week, which is the Little Mo Laugh of the Day. The Little Mo laugh of the day is always one of my favorites. For those that don't know about Mo, Mo was a longtime listener of mine and goes back to the overnight days on CBS Sports Radio. And I'll tell you, his laugh was always incredibly infectious, and I just thought, man, this young man who had plenty of reasons to always be annoyed or always be down, cynical. He never was any of that. He was always optimistic. He was always laughing. He was always cheerful. Now, it didn't mean in his quiet moments he didn't also have, those, but when he met challenges, they were with optimism and belief. And I just love him to pieces. We lost him too early, but you know what? Mo is always with me. He's on the back wall back there. You'll see in that Orioles jersey. He's a member of the Orioles Hall of Fame. If you go to Camden Yards this summer, you'll see his name there in plaque. He's in the end zone of the Baltimore Ravens. MO in Baltimore is lit up. And I did a video about him for YouTube that you can go back and watch if you want to go on this channel and spend some time and understand his story and his connection here. So the Little Mo laugh of the day comes to us courtesy of the Omaha men's basketball team. Okay, this is a celebration inside the locker room, and watch Coach Keenan and his dance moves in the celebration.
Whoa! Chill! Calm down, guys! Put it down! What's about to happen? What's about to happen? What's going on?
A frog splash from Coach Keenan onto a garbage pail. And there you go. You know that Little Mo will be laughing at that today. No doubt about it. That's going to do it for us tonight here on Watch GA Live. Thank you, everybody, for coming along for the ride with us. Aidan knocked it out of the park with making tacos. Can't wait for next week. We just keep upping the ante on this one. Got some good guests potentially in the hopper. I'm very excited because we're going to reach out to some cool guests this weekend, or this week, I should say, for next weekend. And I will also next Sunday night have a full recap of the Ed Block Courage Awards and what goes on there. Might have a guest or two from there. Who knows? Okay. So that should be pretty awesome. Stay tuned for that. I will see you tomorrow morning on the Sirius XM side of things on Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Okay. So I will see you then. Thank you, everybody, for making us part of your Sunday night. Love you very much. Love everybody out there. Thank you. Watch the Aliens. Thanks to Aidan Hatton, your Marquette Marvel and executive producer. We are out of here. Be good. Be good to one another. I'm DA. The mothership disconnects.